children, good morning. How are you? Yes, you all are fine and safe. Third class children, social, lesson number 9. What is history? Yes, wearing a sari. And for example, in my house, my grandmother used to wear the sari. And she is proud to show that I am wearing a sari. Yes, and sari is kept like that only in that family. Yes, and I saw that sari and my children, yes, and their children, this sari is kept the remembering of my grandmother. Yes, and it is there. This sari was kept from so many years, means nearly for 50 years. Okay, and more than 50 years. And it is a part of my family history. Not only a sari, for example, it may be a photo of my grandmother. Yes, and it is the family history which is kept, and the children who are here, they will know about grandmother. Yes, it is the family history. Yes, it is the story of your family. Okay, and my grandmother also told me the stories about mother, father. Yes, okay, and it is the what it is? It's a family history. Means the story of a family. The story of a family. The story of a family is called a family history. Yes, okay. First, what is history? The word past refers the time that has gone by. It is gone by. It is the time before. Now the word history comes from the Greek word. It is a Greek word. Historia. This is a Greek word. It means a story or an account of anything that has happened. Thus, a study of past events is called history. The study of past events is called history. It also refers to the past and all things that have happened at that time in the past. Yes, okay children? Yes, it's a timeline now. We use the correct order of events to remember and understand the past. A timeline is a drawing that shows the order of events that took place in past. Yes, and look at this example. Look at this example. Yes, and the earlier event this is. Yes, and here the latest event. The latest event. Yes, it is the latest event. It was the first day of school. It was the first day of school, and I made a new friend. I made a new friend, and we planted a seed in the garden. We planted a seed in the garden. Yes, and the seed became a plant. A seed became a plant. Yes, it became a plant. An example of a timeline. On timeline, the first event of the left hand side. The first event is on the left hand side. This is what? Yes. And the latest event is on the right side. The latest event is on the right side. This is right and this is left. Yes. And a timeline can only show the order of events that have happened in the past. In the past. It helps us to remember when events happened in the past, but how do we learn about history? To learn about history in detail, we need to know more about the source of history. Source of history. Source of history. We need objects. We need objects, materials, buildings, and written stories to study the past. These are called the source of history. What are the source of history, children? Yes, it is objects, materials, buildings, and written stories. Yes, and stories tell that about the past are also the source of history. They may or may not be written. There are three types of source of history, children. First one is about the oral source. Oral sources, it's a stories, songs and poems that people remember. Yes, it is written about the letters, books, traveling stories written in the past. Okay, and the next one is about, okay children, third one is archaeological sources. It's famous buildings, tools, cloths, jewelry and other such materials. For example, have you seen Golconda Fort, children? Yes, it is our memorable fort where the kings were ruled in Hyderabad. You can see the Charminar also. Have you seen the Charminar? Yes. It is built with our kings. In the past it is. Yes, in the past. Okay, children. We use different source of history to learn different things about the past. Yes. Source of history. There are three types. Yes, oral source, written source, archaeological source. Yes, oral source means language spoken every day, activities and festivals. We can see that. Means what can we learn from them? Means oral source. Written source, laws, famous people and places. Archaeological sources, commonly used objects, materials used to make things. Yes, and the need to study history. Different people study history for different reasons. A doctor studies the history and understands the different diseases and treatments of the past. Yes, the doctor studies the history to understand the different diseases and treatments of the past. Okay, children. A journalist studies the history to understand the present events better. An architect learns about the ways of constructing buildings and materials used in the past. Yes, the study of materials helps them to understand which material are strong and which are weak. This helps them to make new buildings better. New buildings better. Yes. Some reasons to study history are as follows. To understand the stories of people in different situations. To know why events happened in the past. To help us understand the change in the world. To help us to become better citizens. Yes, and ways to learn about family history. How can we? Yes, every person also has a past or family history. How can we know about the family history of our elder family members? We can learn about our family history in many ways. Yes, we can look at oral source such as the stories that our family members remember about themselves and others. Yes, We can look at oral source such as the stories that our family members remember about themselves and others. For written sources, we can read letters, diaries about the various family members. Yes, we can also look at the old photographs, clothes, jewelry, videos, and other belongings. Yes, have you seen Salarjee Museum, children? What it is there in that? Yes, the weapons and the things which are used the, before the kings used that. They are kept there in the museum and we can go and see that. Okay, this is what the history about the kings. Okay, children. Archaeologists and historians. Archaeologists and historians work together to learn about the past. They find out about different people and groups. An archaeologist studies about the buildings, paintings, cloths, and other objects used by the people in the past. A historian studies the meaning of the text in the books and other documents written in the past. Yes, do you know the difference now? Yes. Okay, children. And make a timeline of your life with photographs and drawing on the in the classwork, children. And you can use the what it is, this one. You have to draw and you have to write this. Yes. Okay, children.